So do be careful. Ron Eller, candidate, Mississippi District, Congressional District, 2nd District. Good morning, Ron. How are you, sir? It's good to have you.
Good morning, Paul. It's a pleasure to be on the show with you, the godfather of Mississippi Talk.
Well, I mucho appreciate that. A little bit about, by the way, congratulations getting the endorsement of General Flynn.
Well, thank you, sir. That was a pleasant surprise yesterday when that came into me.
A little bit about you. I know you're a retired military officer, but for people who don't know who you are, would you please take a moment and tell them?
Sure. It'd be a pleasure to talk to people about who I am. I was born in a single-family household, basically. I was raised by my mother, and I primarily grew up in the state of West Virginia. I married my high school childhood sweetheart. We've been married this April, make 45 years. We have 2 sons.
Congratulations.
We've lived the American dream that, through prayer, hard work, and dedication, you can accomplish the things that you want. And during my time in public service, I started out, as you mentioned, in the military. I went from the pay grades of E1 to E7. I was a warrant officer and retired as a captain. While in the military, I had such accolades bestowed on me as I was Soldier of the Year for TRADOC, FORSCOM, Fort Benning, Georgia. I was non-commissioned officer of the year. I was selected as outstanding West Virginian by John D. Rockefeller, the governor then. I've spent 20-plus years here in the state of Mississippi working as a physician assistant in cardiac and thoracic surgery. So I've been taking care of the people in Mississippi and the Delta for all my life, really. I have 40-plus years of public service, and I'm a very steadfast kind of guy that people can count on. I'm also a small business owner. I have a business making hunting-related products, so I'm what you could call a very pro Second Amendment kind of guy.
Is that right? What's the name of the company?
Buck Warrior Enterprises.
Warrior Enterprises. What's your products?
Well, the very first product that I brought out was a deer feed / attractant. I considered it to be like a meal replacement powder, like a bodybuilder would use. It was called, still called, buck powder.
It's not Kool-Aid, is it?
No, and it's actually very high in protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And we use a food-grade container. We actually use oxygen absorber packs, so our shelf life is next to nobody else in the business.
So you're a guy signing paychecks, which your competition in Benny Thompson, I doubt if he's ever done that.
I believe that probably to be the case.
Yeah.
And the second product I ever brought to the market was a product that I call Me Too, and Me Too is actually trademarked to me. I brought that product out in 2013. It stands for Mineral Essential Elements. You want bigger, healthier deer? Me Too.
How about that?
You want huge racks? Me Too. You want to put more deer in your freezer? Me too.
I want to make sure in this single segment that we have here that you are able to tell people exactly what you stand for. I know one of the things because you've done a good job to this in your campaign. Some form of common sense school choice is one of the things that you're adamant about.
That's correct. Well, I have what I call an E3 principle. E1 would deal with education, E2 deals with economics, and E3 deals with energy. When we look at education, and it doesn't matter if we're talking the Mississippi Delta or across the United States, we need to be teaching children about the greatness of America. We need to get rid of this woke agenda. We need to be training that next group of tradesmen, doctors, lawyers, businessmen. But not only do we need to talk about educating our youth, we also need to look at those folks that have been incarcerated. We need to give them the skills so that they're not being repatriated into the prison system. That's pulling down that entire family. E2.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay, sir. E2, economics. Economics, particularly like Bill Cork, who was just on your show, talked about, we need to improve the infrastructure of the Mississippi state as a whole, particularly the Delta. And one of those projects that has been pushed to the side, which Representative Thompson really put the coffin nails into, was the Yazoo Pump Project. And that harms the people within the 2nd District. It cuts our growing season. We could actually be growing crops in the state of Mississippi basically 365. We could be growing winter wheat right now while that ground's sitting there fallow. But because of flooding that affects people's homes, croplands, that decreases that. And not only is that harm to the Mississippi Delta, It is a national issue because food is a national security issue. You let any population go hungry for 72 hours, and you will have riots in the street. Also, under economics, I look at taxation. We need to be cutting our expenditures, and we need to look at certain taxes, particularly like inheritance tax. Wealthy families are not paying inheritance tax. Let's face it, their stuff is going into a trust, and they're getting around that. Inheritance tax is being paid by the middle class and poor people. We're forcing them to rebuy the family home, the family business, the family farm, and that's wrong. Those things have already been taxed. And E3, energy is the lifeblood of the American economy. I don't care if we're talking about clean coal, oil, natural gas, nuclear, wind, solar, hydroelectric. We need all forms of energy to grow our economy and to keep our nation in the leadership position that it's in. And we need to get back to that thought process. Eventually, maybe a green form of energy will win out, but that's not right now. No. And until that technology gets to that point, we need to be using all of our resources, not hamstringing the American people and economy for a pie-in-the-sky dream.
Ron Eller, who's running against Benny Thompson, you, of course, know this is probably one of the most formidable races that you could be in as a white Republican in the 2nd District. I don't think you would have taken this on for just publicity. I mean,
no, sir.
You've done enough and seen enough that you could be sitting in your laurels in Laurel. But so why take this on? In the reality of it's going to be a very difficult fight.
Well, you look at America. I don't see a red America, blue America. I don't see a white America, black America. I see us as Americans. And the people who are in politics, the political elite, they wish to divide us as a people and as a nation. Because if I can keep you divided, then I can control you.
Agreed.
And, in the book of Luke and Matthew, they talk about that in the Bible. A kingdom that is divided is a house that'll fall. Our founding fathers talked about this. Patrick Henry, in his last public address, I believe it was in March 1799, we know that famous line out of it, united we stand, divided we fall. Well, we must be united as a people for the common good. When I look at the 2nd Congressional District, as we know, it's probably about 65.2% black. It's D plus 14. People would tell you those are insurmountable numbers. No, they're not, because we all know we need change. When you look at Mississippi and Mississippi Delta, people would tell you Mississippi is the poorest state in the nation. Yeah. Well, that's true, but it's not true. Look at Olive Branch. Look at Madison. Look at the Gulf Coast. Look at towns like Columbus. Those towns, those cities are growing. They're very prosperous. But what don't they have in common with the 2nd Congressional District? They don't have that lifelong Democratic leadership. And we need to change that. I happen to be the chairman for term limits, Psalms 109:8. May his days be few, may another take his position of leadership. And I've even written a bill that I'm hoping I'll be down at the Capitol today, knocking doors and things, to put prayer back into our public schools. People talk about running for office, but they're not out there actually doing things. They're hoping to get there. Well, whether I get there or not, I'm working for the people of Mississippi and for America.
Ron Eller. Ron, it is kind of an irony when you had some members of some Democrats yesterday or in a couple of weeks ago say negative things about the Republican governor not helping out the Delta when that was a bogus argument. But they never said anything about Benny Thompson, who's been there for 31 years, 1993. And the only thing that's gotten better is his paycheck or his wealth.
His bank account, that's correct.
Final thoughts in about 30 seconds. Go ahead, sir.
Well, final thoughts, we need change in leadership, and I'm the change agent that you can count on. You can find more out about me at voteroneller.com. My phone number is real easy. It's 888-ELLER22, because in 22 I started a mission to take back America. That's 888.
You got it.
355-3722.
Good luck, Ron. Appreciate it.